NATO Secretary General's visit to Korea, the trip far away has many purposes. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg's visit to South Korea carries the message of friending with Seoul for common security goals. Secretary General of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, Jens Stoltenberg has arrived in Seoul on the first leg of his trip to Northeast Asia. According to AFP news agency, this is part of an effort to boost relations with allies in the region in the face of the Russia-Ukraine conflict and growing competition from China. Stoltenberg met top South Korean officials on January 30, thereby calling on Seoul to do more to help Kiev, increase military support for Ukraine, and ask the country to reconsider its policy not to export arms to countries in conflict. He pointed out that countries such as Germany and Norway have a long-standing policy of not exporting arms to countries in conflict, but have modified them when faced with the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. South Korea is an increasingly important arms exporter globally and recently signed agreements to sell hundreds of tanks to European countries, including NATO member Poland. However, South Korean law prohibits the export of weapons to countries in conflict, which Seoul says makes it difficult to supply weapons directly to Kiev, despite its humanitarian and non-humanitarian assistance. Damage. Earlier, in an exclusive interview with Yonhap news agency on January 27 at NATO headquarters ahead of his trip to Northeast Asia, Mr. Stoltenberg emphasized NATO's pursuit of closer cooperation with partners. Cooperation in the Indo-Pacific, while highlighting the challenges posed by China. But NATO does not consider China a rival and will still promote trade with Beijing. Stoltenberg expressed his lack of optimism about the future of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. According to him, President Putin is accelerating his campaigns and actively buying weapons from countries including North Korea. However, Pyongyang has denied sending weapons to Moscow. The most important message is that I strongly believe that we need to strengthen the partnership between Korea and NATO because security is becoming more and more interconnected. What happens in Asia, India, the Pacific Ocean is also important for Europe and NATO, and vice versa. On the issue of whether South Korea needs a nuclear sharing policy with the United States, similar to NATO's nuclear planning group, Stoltenberg said Washington's extended deterrence has worked for many years. And stressed the important goal of the NATO allies of nuclear non-proliferation.